Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Ms. Praveena, for giving the opportunity to speak here. This is my second time on school reformers. Let me just, in 1 minute, give you a brief introduction about myself. I am a teacher currently working in 21K school, and I have almost 3 decades of teaching experience both in India and abroad. I'm a certified teacher trainer, and this is one thing that I enjoy, that is conducting sessions, reaching out to as many educators. So educators, sit back and enjoy, because as the lessons, as the topic says, if they are laughing, they are learning. Now, I'm not expecting anybody to be an overnight comedian here. Remember, we are all teachers, but there is a purpose for this. I have always found that, teachers who make their lessons enjoyable are the teachers who are remembered for a long time, and their lessons are carried forward for a long time. We do not like to remember teachers who have been, with a strict face, with a serious face, no sense of humor, no laughing in class. So remember, if they are laughing, they are learning. So as a facilitator, as a teacher, make your lessons nice so that children will remember. Now, you might ask, what is the benefit? Why should we use humor in class? Of course, we have a syllabus to finish. We have a curriculum to be completed. We have assessments. We have, projects. We have lots of things to be done at the end of the academic year. Once again, let me reiterate that, humor in class makes things easier, both for the teacher and primarily for the student. Now, first advantage of why we should have humor. Humor improves student engagement. Students willingly react, willingly respond in class if they find the teacher has a sense of humor. If they find, the teacher is, at their level, the teacher is going to understand what they are saying. So I still remember my maths teacher when I was way back in school. I never enjoyed maths. Maths was never my plus point. I do not blame the teacher for that. But definitely, I think right now what we see in our own school, 21K, maths is so much enjoyable. Children enjoy. There are a lot of projects. There are a lot of hands-on, engagements that children are doing, because the teachers are enabling them to do it. So when there is humor in class, it improves student engagement. Students learn better. Students remember better. Students comprehend better. So first reason that why we should include humor in our class is it improves student engagement. The second one is it enhances memory. Think back of your school days, the subject that you're teaching now. What motivated you to be a subject teacher in this particular area? Whether you're a science facilitator, maths teacher. For example, I took up English in my graduation and my post-graduation, because, the English teacher was one person who understood my creativity, who understood me, not only me, she understood everyone in the class. So when we have, she would make lessons so much fun. There would always be, she would start with the joke of the day, and anybody who was absent on that particular day for the English class would definitely ask the peers, their friends, what was the joke that was shared by Miss, or joke shared by anybody. So when there is humor in class, it definitely enhances memory, because we want to remember what was being or what is being taught in class. Humor also creates a positive learning environment. I remember in the Middle East when I was teaching, a couple of students shared with me, Miss, why don't the teachers smile? It looks like all the load of the world is on your shoulders. At some point of time, teachers, we have become so busy with our schedule, with our curriculum, with our day-to-day, activities, lesson plans, lesson observation, peer observation. We find ourselves to be very serious. There is, we have forgotten to smile at each other. So first thing is, when you want to, make your classes better, you want to enhance the learning, please create a positive learning environment. And the only way we can do this is by smiling when you enter the class. Don't carry the load of the world into your class. Leave all your troubles outside, because your students need not know what are the troubles that are there in your life. So when you enter the class, create a positive learning environment. And this environment is created, let me tell you, teachers, only through your smile. Remember, smile is infectious. If I smile at you, definitely I get a smile in return. So create a positive learning environment where everyone and anyone is welcome, irrespective of what, learning level, L1, L2, L3 level the child is, the student is. This is your class. You are accountable. You are responsible. And for that, the learning environment has to be conducive. So please try to create a positive learning environment by smiling in class. Learn, a child has, since I'm working in an online class, I have at times, many times, children eating breakfast. And now that's something which is not permitted at all. But, instead of getting angry, I would ask the child, okay, what's there for breakfast today? And the child would say, and I would give a couple of dishes. Is it aloo ka paratha? Is it sandwich? And you will see the entire class is, listening with a smile. Okay, what is the breakfast? What was the menu in the breakfast today? So build a positive classroom where everyone is welcome, whatever level the child is, whatever ethnicity the child is, they are your students. So create a positive learning environment. Now, we just celebrated a couple of months ago Teachers' Day. Now we are looking forward to Children's Day. Let me tell you, teachers, let every day of your class be a Children's Day, be your Students' Day. We don't have to wait for November 14th to celebrate Children's Day. Each child is very precious in your class. So make them feel special in class. Let them look forward to come to your class, to attend your class. And that will happen only when the learning environment is positive, where the child understands, if I make a mistake, it's absolutely fine. I'm not going to be, penalized for it. Nobody is going to look, down upon me. And I always start, giving my story. And I tell children, when I was in school, I was not a perfect child. I'm still not a perfect teacher, definitely. I made mistakes, I failed subjects and I worked hard. Teachers got angry with me, but I came. So try to get yourself in the picture. Tell children, if you fail, if something is wrong, if something is happening, do not worry. We have also crossed the same path. So create a positive learning environment. Today, when you go back to your classes, just ask your students, how many of the students think their teacher is a superman or a superwoman? You'll find there'll be some sort of a silence for some time. And after that, they would say, probably, Miss, you are a superwoman, because how are you doing? They might say, you are not a superwoman. My mother is a superwoman. My dad is a superman. We need to be the super teachers that our children look up to. And that can only happen when you create a positive learning environment. Let your lessons be memorable lessons. I'm sure many of us remember our teachers who taught us in school and colleges. I'm sure each one of you also want to be remembered the same way like we remember our teachers. And that can only happen when children enjoy your classes, learn in your classes, which is again going to happen only when the learning environment is positive. Now, what happens when there is humor? Now, let me tell you, each and every child, each and every student is coming from a different background. And I'm sure the children are also so stressed. When they come to your class, remember that particular 40 minutes, that particular 50 minutes should be a stress-free environment. So when there is a humor, suddenly in the middle of the lesson, you find your students are not paying attention. Change the direction of the lesson. And let's say, okay, children, what did you do in the weekend? Where did you go in the weekend? I went there and I slipped on the escalator. I'm still nervous to get onto the escalator. I have to wait for some. Get humor in the class in the middle of the lesson, because let me tell you, laughing reduces stress. And the more children laugh in your class, the more, rejuvenated they would be after a particular difficult concept that they have learned. So humor reduces stress. And it has been proved by many researchers who say that, laughter reduces stress. Smile reduces stress. These should be there in your class. Now, when there is humor, we are encouraging in creativity, because, now joke of the day is not every day done by me. I say, okay, tomorrow this particular child is doing, on Thursday, this particular child is doing. So this encourages creativity, and children start thinking out of the box, not in the box. Every day the joke or every day the humor, it's not that, chalo, let's go and let's start laughing today. Let's have some funny moments. No, it just comes in the lesson. So when children see that the teacher is, saying something humorous, even they would want to share, something funny that happened with them. So we are encouraging creativity, and we are also encouraging thinking out of the box. Now, these days, I tell children, children, we think in the box, we think out of the box, and we think around the box also. So when there is humor, when there is fun in class, remember, it encourages creativity, and we are enabling our children to be innovative by thinking out of the box, by thinking around the box. Now, when a teacher is, when you find that the teacher, you can relate to the teacher, you can connect to the teacher, it strengthens teacher-student relationship. I still remember a couple of years ago, the children, many of them used to say, Miss, we did the homework. But, when we were in the offline school, but I left it at the dining table. I left it in my other bag. Absolutely fine. No problem. Tell the child, okay, tomorrow you'll bring the homework. Now, the same thing is repeated the next day also. Then you'll say, all right, what am I going to do? I'm going to come home. I'm going to collect the homework. And you'll see, and say it in such a humorous way, the child will definitely understand, okay, now this was a mistake. I should have done the homework. So humor, fun, it strengthens teacher-student relationship. And remember, we are teachers. We are not, autocrats here in class. It is a two-way, system. I provide, I give information, I teach, they study, they comprehend. So it is me and them. It is a two-way system, not a one-way road. So we have to strengthen teacher-student relationship. And this happens when there is humor in class. A lot of relationships these days, teachers, let me tell you, fail because, there was no communication between them. And I always say, try to be funny at times. Never, have the straight face, okay, I'm a teacher, so I'm supposed to be very strict. I'm supposed to be very composed. I cannot, cross the limit. We're not asking anybody to cross the limit, but relate to what the children are undergoing. Relate, try to understand, try to put yourself in their shoes. And always talk about, when I was a student, I also made the same mistake. When I was a student, even I forgot my homework so many times. And teacher used to be, really upset when I never used to give my homework. So strengthen, bond with your students. So humor strengthens teacher-student relationship. Now, we have talked about a lot of things like, we are going to have, it's going to strengthen teacher relationship, student relationship. Children are going to remember a lot. One thing that you all must understand is that we are not comedians anyway, but a teacher is a mother, a father, an instructor, a friend, a brother, a sister, and sometimes a joker. So I always say, in the class, I am the joker. Each one of you will be able to, by now, identify some characteristics of each and every student of yours. So if you see, for example, let's say I see Praveena is very sad today. She is not smiling at all today. So I can just say, Praveena, what happened? Is everything okay? All right, let me share something with you. So try to get the child out of the shell. Try to make the child comfortable. So when the child is comfortable, the child will understand, okay, now Miss Mary is really concerned about me. Let me pay attention. So when you are using such things in class, such, deviators in class, let me tell you one thing, your classes will be outstanding, where children will remember, students will remember. Grade 6, I had this teacher who taught me, and she taught me like this. I still remember it. So as teachers, as facilitators, as, the head of the class that you are, like, taking your lessons, make sure there is one funny moment, one humorous moment in class. I'm sure the maths teachers will ask me, how can I create fun? Maths is such a complex subject. I have to teach them fractions, trigonometry, geometry. Where is the time? And there's so much of curriculum. There is so much of syllabus to be completed. 1 minute, 5 minutes, let me say, just give them a breather, just give them a relaxer. And that can be, come on, can anybody share some joke in the class? What happened last week? Can anyone share a math related joke? Can anyone share a history related joke? I still remember the history teacher when she taught, independence era, 1847 mutiny. She imagined herself that she was there in the mutiny, and she talked, the way she explained to us why the mutiny started and all. I still remember why the mutiny started so many years down the line. So when you teachers, not you, when all of us are in class, take that 5 minutes just to relax in class. It can be in the middle of the session, it can be at the beginning of the session, or it can be almost at the end of the session. But definitely 1 5-minute break is needed there in class, where children say, let's sit back and let's listen to this joke. Let's sit back and let's look at this cartoon, a picture that you can share. Let's sit back and just, I have had teachers who just showed Tom and Jerry, that no video was played. Tom and Jerry was shown, just there on the screen, and everyone just suddenly started smiling. Charlie Chaplin, just put it there. The people, children relate to all these things. So get humor into your class. Now, what are the strategies that we can have towards, having fun in class, getting humor in class? One period that is a very stressful period for all of us, irrespective of age or anything, is the night before an exam. It can be any exam, civil services, your BA exam, MA exam, BEd exam, grade 9 exam, grade 10, any exam. I always tell children, and I give my example, I had prepared for my test, children, and 8 p.m. I was very smiling. Okay, tomorrow morning is my maths exam. I'm ready. So 8 p.m. and then 12 a.m. I'm like, okay, I think I'm forgetting the formulas. I'm forgetting the ratios. And early in the morning before the exam, I'm absolutely lost. I don't remember anything. So children, it's absolutely natural that before the exam, you are confident. One day before, you've done every revision. The checklist is complete. I've done this, prepositions, nouns, adjectives, everything done. But next day before the exam, before you actually enter the examination hall, you feel that, you have forgotten. You're totally at a loss. It is natural, absolutely natural to feel. And tell children, you can understand what they are feeling. Teachers, we have not overnight become teachers. We've had our own, bits of struggles always. So tell them that you have walked their path. You were also in their shoes, and you still are in their shoes. So before every lesson, you are nervous. Will it go well? Will the children enjoy? So relate, crack a joke in class. Now, organize, some playing words. Now, I'm sure you all know what beatboxing is. And I did this in class one day, So I just told the children, I really like beatboxing. And you will not imagine, imagine I had 4 boys actually beatboxing. And one of them said, Miss, beatboxing like the music type? And I said, no. I did not show them all the 4 pictures at the same time. I said, no. Now, they were wondering what beatboxing may be, something new beatboxing Miss is talking about. Actually, I was just talking about hitting the box with something. So organize some playing activities. You play with words. You can definitely play with words. One more thing, I always try it in class, especially when I have substitution, is, you can try these tongue twisters. And they are, let me tell you, massive hits. I start with the simple one. She sells seashells on the seashore. I tell them to say it 5 times. From seashells, I advance. And this is one particular thing, one particular activity that even if I have 25 students on screen, they all want to participate and they thoroughly enjoy. So play with words. Try to play with words and enable children to play with words. Tell them it's absolutely okay to make mistakes. None of us learned it before. We practiced and we have become experts now. Probably we are experts. I do not say I'm an expert in anything right now. So we practice. The more you rehearse, the more you practice, you would become better. So organize playing with words. Your assignments, especially your home assignments, need not be, a list of 10 questions, straightforward questions. Give them some funny questions and answers. Give them something, give them a word they want, create 10 words. You give them some alphabets and ask them to create 10 funny words from it. Trust me, these work really well in English and history classes. You can just give them some funny questions, or let's say grade 8, you give them a simple question, 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. And the child will say, why did Miss give me a grade 3 or a grade 2 maths question? And you'll see the child answer, smiling. Okay, now ma'am is trying to be funny here and she's giving me a funny question. So incorporate some funny questions in your assignment. Now, non-verbal communication. As parents, I think our children understand our non-verbal communication. When you're upset about something, you don't have to say no. Your eyes speak. Your facial expression speaks it. So if you're upset about something, you don't have to always tell them, children, keep quiet. Be quiet, everyone. There's so much of noise in class. You just be quiet and just stare at them. Just look at them. The non-verbal communication, let me tell you, children understand, children really understand. So when you communicate with them, communicate through your facial expressions. You can have, just your eyebrow, you see a child eating breakfast and suddenly you do like this and you say like this, okay, Adi, what are you doing? And just look at him. The child will understand, okay, now breakfast eating is not permissible. So your facial expressions and even your posture. Now, since I'm in an online school, I always tell my children, I want you to sit upright. I don't want you to slouch in your seat. So I have had a couple of children, sometimes, they would slouch and I would demonstrate to them, okay, I'm going to be sitting, I'm going to be slouching in my chair. How would you like it? And immediately, I don't have to tell the names of the children. Immediately, you'll find them sitting upright. They're absolutely bang on paying attention. So non-verbal communication also plays a lot of role. It can be funny and definitely try to make it humorous so that children are not offended. The purpose here is not to offend anybody. We are not trying to make fun of anybody. We are trying to make learning a fun task. So non-verbal communication. Change your tone. Never have the same tone. Teachers, let's say, we are great orators. But, from the beginning of the class till the end of the class, it's the same tone. Change your tone. But not the angry tone, but change. So sometimes, I just post this picture like, would you like to see Miss Mary like this? And immediately they'll say, no, Miss, we don't want to see you like this. So change your tone, tell them your tone is talking. When you are saying something, whether you like it, when somebody has done something nice, wow, that's amazing. Fantastic, Adi. That's really, see, the tone also tells, and you'll see Adi is smiling. Or you can say, Mari, I think, that's good, but I'm sure definitely you can do better. It's okay. I would not be able to speak like what you did just now. So change your tone because the intonation is very important. And here, try to be a little bit on the funny side, not on the serious side. Now, before I go, I just want to say, think about it, teachers. When you are teaching in class, are you an autocrat? Are you a teacher who's just giving information? Or are you somebody who is trying to transmit information, transmit knowledge for eternity, that the child or the student remembers this forever? It's not that the person is going to forget it. The person should remember and remember till lifelong. I would like to share one more slide with you, because some of you might be thinking, all right, not everyone has to turn into a comedian overnight. So don't say, okay, now I'm supposed to be funny, so let me think of some funny jokes. Let me learn by heart some funny jokes. Not at all. Please do not do that. You should be, the fun should be, the fun should be all on you, not on your students. So, I did like this. I went there, and it happened. you are the center of, you are the character there, and you are trying to make fun of yourself, not in a rude way, but, telling the children it's absolutely fine when we make mistakes. So teachers, let me tell you once again, if there is fun in class, your students are learning. But if the class from starting point till end point, if the class is just going where you're just giving, just giving out information, and children are just taking in information, that's not the learning process that is required. That's not the need of the hour. The need of the hour here is that everyone feels wanted in class, everyone is welcomed in class, and everyone finds learning to be fun. I hope each one of us will take this in your class. Try to make your classes a little bit humorous. So tomorrow when you take a lesson, just see whether it's algebra, whether it's history, political science, home science, English, any subject, Hindi, languages, anything. Say, what is the fun humor moment in my class? Write it in your lesson plan. The fun, the humor moment of my class, the best moment of my class, the awesome moment of my class. Let me tell you one thing. Besides children answering in class, which is awesome, the humor moment or the awesome moment is when 25 students of yours are all smiling at the same time because of something you said, something you shared with them. So have fun, teachers. Let's have the comic character in us. Let's ignite that comic character in us, and let's approach our classes in a better way, in a friendly way, in a humorous way, in a comic way. Where teaching, learning, where teaching and learning both goes hands in hand. Thank you, everyone. I hope each one of us will turn. Each one of us will have that comic element in us. Thank you, Ms. Pravina.
Yeah, ma'am. Thank you. We have so many questions lined up because of the time constraint. I will not repeat the ones you have already covered. In fact, you have already covered most of them. I would like to take one question by one question. First question is, can you share any memorable stories or examples of how humor transformed a learning experience for your students? Can you stop sharing your screen, ma'am, and expand your camera?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
So I need to share one humorous situation that happened in my class, right? Now, as I told you, I taught in the Middle East. So when I went to the Middle East, we were the first batch of Indians who were teaching there. And, they were not used to Indians as teachers. So the first two classes of mine were disaster, where I actually left the class weeping, because they were Arab girls and they were not accepting an Indian. I did some reading, limited resources that time. I did some reading and I realized that the Arabs are very fond of film stars. I repeat, they're fond of Indian film stars, Hindi film stars. So the next class that I went in, and I have 25 students, who are Arabs. I just went and I just wrote the name of a Hindi film star on the blackboard. Let me tell you, the class which was boisterous, the class which was naughty, till grade 12, I was their teacher. They insisted. And every time they would come and ask me something funny. So from, a class which was not accepting me, they accepted me and they wanted me to be teaching them till grade 12. And each and every moment of their English classes were cherished. Because when they graduated, they said, Miss Mary, you have been the best teacher that has taught us. Humor was, something which always had its spark to my lessons. I feel that, I'm a joker. So when you have humor, each one of you will have a story to tell. Let me tell you, after, let's say 6 months, if we have a session again, a one-to-one, I will ask you how humor has changed each one of you. So try to be funny. There are many situations I can give you. I hope I've answered your question.
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Kiran Johnny, he posted a question. He's asking how syllabus, working days, number of periods, along with these strategies are conflicting.
All right. Syllabus will be there. Working days is always there. We are not taking 50 minutes of your period. We're just taking, let's say, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. I do not think that would be difficult. Trust me, teachers. 2 minutes maximum. It's not that every class I'm going to say, come on, children, I'm going to tell you a joke today. No, but have a fun moment where you see, okay, now I'm in an online school, and sometimes, when I'm sharing the screen, I'm not able to see everybody. I stop sharing and I say, all right, let me see all your smiling faces. That's it. They all, the cameras are on. And suppose, let's say, for example, Sarah's camera, Praveena's camera is off. Come on, Praveena, did you stop smiling? Can I see that? Just that much is needed, teachers. You don't have to go out of the way, plan something. How am I going to be funny today? No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. I hope I've answered Mr. Kiran's this thing. Try it out. Let me tell you, with my 3 decades of experience and still going, I always found that humor is something which adds magic, not only to your classes, to your life also.
Great to know, ma'am. The third question is, what are some common misconceptions or concerns that educators may have about using humor in the classroom, and how can these be addressed?
One thing is change your attitude. As I said, you go to your class today and ask your children, children, the first impression that you get of your teacher, what impression do you get? They'll say, teachers are very boring. Teachers are very strict. Teachers don't laugh. Teachers have stopped smiling. That's a misconception. We are all human beings. No teacher has to be, we were not taught in B.Ed that, teachers have to have a wooden expression, no smile at all. No. We have been told our classes should be fun learning experiences. Where does the learning happen? When the teacher and the student are able to connect with each other. So the misconception is teachers have to be very strict. No, teachers have to be strict, but to a certain level, a certain way. We are not supposed to be strict 24/7. Are you strict? One misconception is that teachers have a loud voice. Absolutely, I think most of us have a loud voice. But, there are some teachers who are very gentle, very soft. So one misconception here is that teachers, we are supposed to be the very all with glasses, the very nerdy people. No, that's totally a misconception. And teachers cannot be, fun teachers. Teachers should not have any humorous moments. No, we should have fun. We should have humor. So I think these are all misconceptions that teachers should be strict. No smile whatsoever on your face.
Right. So what strategies do you recommend for teachers to effectively integrate humor into their teaching without it becoming distracting or inappropriate, ma'am?
All right.
Sometimes the children get carried away, right, with extra humor. Yes.
All right. So I'll just, one person, that since I'm an English teacher, I like to play with words. So my one thing is the tongue twister, it really goes well. The second thing, I recently remembered I had gone for math substitution. All right. And maths is not, no, I'm not supposed to teach maths there. So I was supposed to do an activity. And I told them, children, this is your maths period. But please don't ask me any maths questions because I was disastrous in maths. Immediately, the children all started smiling. Okay, she was also bad in maths. So one thing I always, whichever class, whichever subject you're teaching is, try to see how can I make that, again, I think it's a repetition, that 1 minute or 2 minutes, how can I make it memorable for my children? How can I make it memorable for my students? Many of you who have small children who've just started going to KG, grade 1, grade 2, they come back and they share so many stories with us, But as the, schooling, as the grades advance, let's say 9, 10, 11, 12, 6, 7, 8 till 12, you'll not find children coming and sharing stories, what happened in school. But in the primary classes, they come and share stories with us, this happened, teacher said this, Why? Because the teacher is there as, providing a lot of, there are a lot of fun moments in that class. As the grades advance, fun moments are not there in class. Teachers have we need to basically change ourselves to have a memorable fun moment in class. Once again, I'm saying, let's not have, 10 minutes of fun moments. As Mr. Kiran said, we have too much of syllabus to complete. Just take 2 minutes. So the children go back and say, today teacher said this, even teacher was bad in maths. So it's okay, I will work. So have some moments where the children are able to relate to you. Children are able to come and share with you. Just today, when tomorrow or today, when you go to class, ask your class, how many of them want to be teachers? Trust me, probably out of a class of 25, not even one will raise their hand. Not even one will raise their hand. That's the impression we have given our children. I did it just now. I finished my grade 6 and I asked them before coming, just to validate my point, how many of you would want to become a teacher? They said, no, miss, not teacher. They want to be anything. They want to be musicians. They want to be cricketers. They want to be anything but a teacher. That's the impression we have given them. So let's change ourselves for them to change, let so that they get an impression, all right, teachers are also human beings.
Right. So you have taught in the Middle East, you are teaching in India. Are there any cultural or sensitivity considerations that educators should be aware of when using humor in diverse classrooms?
Absolutely, absolutely. When we went in 2000, went to Kuwait, we did not know. I had never seen an Arab in my life. I was basically from Delhi, never seen an Arab. I did not know the other, but I knew the culture because I had a lot of friends in Delhi who were from the same, faith. But when we went there, the one thing that I realized is that, at the end of the day, with whatever culture you are belonging to, we are all teachers. We have all got the same set of students. The culture. So one thing, remember to respect each and every individual. Please respect each and every individual. You might be belonging to some particular thing, but in your class, they are your students. Primarily, they are your students. You are accountable for them and you are accountable to them. So cultural differences, please put it aside, but we have to be very sensitive towards these cultural differences because each one for them, their culture is important. So being, in the Middle East and being in Delhi right now, I'm settled in Kerala. I have, for me, I accept it, each one is different. I am different to you. When you realize that, you will teach your children also with respect. Give respect to get respect. Please do not say, I'm your teacher, so come and respect me, whichever culture you are. No, I respect you. In return, you will get respect. So be the change you want them to be. Give them respect. If a student is, in the Middle East, we greet each other, salam alaikum. I learned that language. It was much easier to relate to them in Arabic than saying, good morning, children, how are you? They would probably not understand what I'm saying. But when you converse with them in their own language, so take that extra step. Try to be comfortable with them. Like, we have a series of festivals coming. Now, just how was your, how did you celebrate yesterday? What did your mom do yesterday? Or how did you do the share? Have that cultural sensitivity. That's primarily. So I'm not going to be humorous about that there. That I'm going to deal with much respect. But there should be a little bit of sensitivity towards individuals, definitely.
Nice to know, ma'am. So can you discuss any research or studies that support the effectiveness of humor in education?
I can actually mention the research that we did. It was not a research, we were a group of 4 Indians and 3 Egyptians and 2 teachers from Tunisia. We did this research, why should we have humor in class? And all of us, all 10 of us were a bunch of jokers, our classes were the memorable ones. And we actually had visitors entering our classes and we had visitors entering other classes. And the teacher-student engagement was maximum. We had a poll at the end of the session. It was spread for 3 months. We had a poll. The teacher-student engagement was maximum in the classes where there was humor. As compared to classes, there was no teacher-student engagement. The children were just waiting for the bell to ring to rush out of the class. Whereas our classes, we had to tell them, all right, children, I have another class. No, miss, please, let's finish this one. That shows that children are eager to learn. Children are welcome in your class. So there are lots of research. I would take the example of myself, what we did it. So I have realized from day one, I started my teaching career. I'm not going to be like the teachers I had in my school. Because I had, let me tell you, be very honest, some teachers who were really, really very rude, and I wanted to make a change in the teaching fraternity. And I think I have, even if it's a drop in the ocean, the drop matters. I have definitely brought about a change. So for me, teaching is a noble profession. It's a profession by choice. Nobody has forced me to take it. And enjoy it. And when the enjoyment comes, it's shown on your face. If you're going to take it as a burden, it's shown on your face.
Last question, ma'am, not but the least. Have you encountered any challenges or setbacks in using humor as an education tool, and how did you overcome them?
Not exactly. I still remember once, I actually said something. I did not mean it in a rude way, but I said something probably in a humorous. I was trying to be funny, and I was, talking about weight. And I am. I was slightly overweight when I was in the Middle East, and when a child entered the class, and the lesson was about fitness. And I actually unconsciously said, and the lesson was talking about overweight people, So I never now, from that particular thing, I never talk about the weight of a person. And I said, and they were saying that overweight people should exercise. And I accidentally said, overweight people like me and so many in class should exercise. And absolutely the expressions changed of almost most of the people. And I immediately apologized. That bounced at me. That was one thing I still feel very traumatized when I think of it right now. How did I say that? So be very careful of what you're speaking. And that was something, I think, in my entire career, that was one moment I regretted using humor. But that humor, if I had said, a person like me who's overweight should exercise, that would have been fine. But I should not have taken the others, overweight people like me and in the class should exercise. No, definitely no. So I've had one thing which I want to erase from my teaching experience log. I want to erase it. So I have had these challenges in that, but then I think before you speak. That's one thing I've always understood, and I practice that.
Yeah, in humor, we should always keep the sensitivity in mind first.
Absolutely. And is it, is the humor applicable there? That is very important. That's what I'm saying. No, don't say suddenly, come on, children, let's have some funny moments. No. Make sure that humor is applicable there. That moment needs it. If it's not needed, just a smile is enough. Teachers, let me tell you, a smile is enough. That's also something which is nice in class.
Nice, ma'am. Thanks a lot, ma'am. School Journal of Education and schoolreformer.com. Thank you for the talk and for patiently answering all the questions. We also thank the audience for participating in the event. We will end the session now.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. God bless. Thank you, Ms. Praveena.
Thank you, ma'am.